New year, new arc. Welcome to Egghead. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here for my blind reaction to One Piece, episode 1089. And yeah, this is the beginning of a brand new arc. It's been a while, and it feels like it's been even longer. Um, we have been in Wano for a long time now. Even on the channel, it's been like a couple years, I think. Which seems like unreal that it's been a couple years even on the channel. Imagine how long it feels for those who have been watching, week by week since it started. But yeah, we are at a new arc, the Egghead Island arc, and it is also the first arc of the final saga. So for those who may not know, what that means is One Piece is divided into arcs and sagas. Arcs are grouped into sagas. So a saga is a grouping of arcs that kind of have a overlying theme or focus. Each of the arcs can kind of separate into their own things, their own islands, but the overall saga that they're a part of is the larger focus of that portion of the story. So the final saga, it means it's the final group of arcs in the entirety of the series. And we don't know how many arcs that's going to be. We don't know exactly how much that's going to cover. It could be a lot. So we definitely still have quite a bit of ways to go in this series. We're definitely in the final stretch though, and that's the point. So Egghead Island is the first arc of this final saga, and we're kicking off 2024 with the brand new stuff, the brand new arc. Just to say arc again. We did watch some other episodes, but that was just to get caught up and everything. That was last week. And on top of that, we have some new stuff with this arc. So I already know we have a new opening, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I also know we have apparently a new art style change, which isn't entirely surprising because Wano kind of like pushed this really high quality art and animation that was very vibrant and fit the overall tone and style of Wano. So it makes sense that they'd want to switch it up. And especially with the anime having kind of gotten like a big stride hit with this with the recent arc, they're probably going to want to continue that because the amazing art and animation in Wano got huge praise. And especially considering this is a series that has been receiving less than stellar reviews regarding its animation at certain points. Like, it's not as bad as some other series from people's perspective, and from my perspective, I've never had an issue with it. But some people have said that, oh, the animation dips in quality a little bit here and there. And I've never really seen that. But again, Wano kind of went all out to change that no matter what, and to give the best quality animation constantly. Of course, there were certain moments that were even better than the best quality. And those were some really, really big moments and everything where it just went completely insane with the animation, but the entire arc was just so beautifully drawn and animated that it stood out. And so it's clear that the people over at Toei want to continue that. Now, this new arc also brings in some big changes. See, One Piece is in a bit of a renaissance. It's always been a massive series, whether you're talking about the manga, the anime, the live action, now you can talk about. But since the live action, it's kind of entered a new renaissance to the point where it's become bigger than ever. And it's undeniable that One Piece is kind of the biggest anime in the world right now. Like, even compared to stuff like Attack on Titan that recently ended, One Piece has eclipsed that lately. In terms of just sheer, like, worldwide attention. And that's not even to discount Attack on Titan, as much as I personally have not gotten into Attack on Titan in a long time. The finale did gain a massive amount of attention, and fairly so, I guess. It got a lot of attention, it got a lot of praise, and, you know, it just didn't stand up to One Piece, though. One Piece has become massive. The live action series was amazing, and pretty much everyone agrees that it was amazing, and even with some issues here and there. You got other big announcements in regards to One Piece and other Oda works. Like, there's an anime coming out this month called Monsters that is basically a prequel to One Piece, centering around the swordsman Ryuma. And on top of that, there's a One Piece anime remake announced, which I personally think is stupid, but a lot of people are really on board with. I think if they're going to remake One Piece, wait until it's finished. Do not start remaking it while the first series is still going. That just doesn't make sense. But yeah, there's a lot that is just gaining, like, this global attention right now. And so, as we move into Egghead Island, I feel like that's going to just continue to be the case. Now, as I said, there is a new opening. And I'm actually recording this the day before. I'm recording this on Monday. You're still seeing it on Tuesday, but I'm doing this because I didn't want to. I've already been having to, like, really, like, try to not be spoiled for the new opening. I've had to avoid a lot on pretty much every social media. And so I decided I'm recording this a day early. I'm still uploading it on Tuesday, but yeah. Just so I can get to the opening. I have heard some non-spoiler thoughts on it, though. Apparently, a good amount of people, if not most of them, are saying that this is one of One Piece's best openings. But, to be fair, there were people saying that about the last opening, and I didn't like the last opening that much. I warmed up to it a tiny bit, but I still was not the biggest fan of it, and altogether it just had too many issues for me, especially in how it was put together. Again, the individual parts of the last opening were good, but they didn't put them together well. The fact that the first half of the opening was so boring to watch because it's, like, just poorly shown flashbacks in, like, an otherwise immobile screen is so bad, and it's just not really acceptable for a series this big at this point. And then the second half just went by too fast. It was, like, the literal opposite pacing problem. It was so fast and so quick that you didn't get a chance to take anything in, and it felt rushed. So it's like, hopefully this new opening actually, one, lives up to the hype that people are putting behind it, and two, really sells me on the excitement of the oncoming arc. That's my big hopes for this. And even if it's not quite as good as as people are saying, I'm still hoping it's like really good. Most One Piece openings are really good to me. The vast majority of them are. There's only like maybe two or three that I think are weaker, and they're not even bad. They're just weaker by comparison. And that includes the last one. But unlike the last one, this one is a full arc opening. The last one was kind of like, oh, post-Wano stuff. Let's just have a lighter opening to kind of close things out for the arc. No, this one is like starting a brand new arc of the final saga. I feel like it's got to really nail this. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens because, as I've also said in the past, there are certain things I know going forward, but I don't know the context behind them. I just like know of them because I've been spoiled on social media, because One Piece fans are the worst with spoilers, as I always point out. But yeah, I don't know the context behind them, and it's not even a lot. Like, it's only a few things here and there. Like with the last video with the past three episodes, I didn't know about those the fake warlord things, the pacifistas, the new pacifistas. I didn't know about those. Or yeah, and like I think I said last time as well, if I had heard of them or seen something about them on social media, I forgot, which means that I probably only saw something once, if I did. But that caught me completely off guard. And I'm hoping there's a lot that still catches me off guard. But like I've always said, I will tell you about anything that I did know about once it comes up. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what we got in store here. There's going to be a lot of great shit, I'd imagine. And I guess we should probably just head right on into this. Why waste any more time? I mean, a new arc like this requires a good amount of talking at the opening, but we've done so. Let's actually move into the reaction. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So what was that at the end there? Robin and Chopper just discussing Sabo? Like they didn't even mention any current stuff happening. They just gave backstory on who the character is. So it seems like, I guess maybe at the end of each episode, at least in this arc, it seems like they're going to be doing something like this, maybe. Because it would make no sense for that to just be a one-episode thing. So they're going to do some kind of recap just to catch viewers up to certain things. I mean, I know it's a long series, but okay. Kind of random. I think people who would be watching at this point would know who Sabo is, to be fair. It feels like a weird decision. Like, especially when they could use those extra minutes for, time in the episode, too. It just feels like they're kind of wasting runtime on that. Um, but let's talk about this. So we got a new opening and ending. Um, the new ending is very simplistic. There's not really anything to talk about. Nice song, nice visuals, but it's just basically just showing the crew. And that's all it needs to do. It's very simple, and it's just something to close out the episodes. The opening, though, like I said, I'm definitely gonna have to see it more times before I can truly judge it. It's very unique, in terms of style, in terms of music, in terms of how the visuals and the music combine. I genuinely don't even have like kind of an initial impression on it. Like it's that unusual, I guess you could say. I'm gonna need to see it more times. I don't know. I kind of feel like people saying like this is one of One Piece's best openings. I think it's people like over exaggerating as usual. Um, and I'm sure I'll warm up to this because I tend to with like literally every One Piece opening and a lot of other anime openings too. I'm sure I'll warm up to it a lot more as I watch it more and everything, and I'm sure like watching it more times will allow me to also understand it more and everything. But I don't know. Like just off of it again, initial impressions, I do think that there's a lot better. Like I would still say it's not one of the best openings. In terms of like this is opening what 25, 26. Um it's probably in the upper half, but the lower part of the upper half. Again, just based off of initial impressions. But I can't truly say. I can't truly say until I've seen it many more times. Maybe I'll have more of a thought, more thoughts by next week's episode by 1090, but we'll see. In the meantime, let's talk about the actual episode. So yeah, the animation style did notably change here. It is a lot more interesting. The opening definitely reflects it well. But we're starting the new arc. So we've started Egghead Island. Art style change, animation style change. Um, and it's very interesting so far because we haven't reached the island yet. It seems like they're going to be soon, which obviously makes sense, but in the meantime, we're just kind of getting there. Um, in terms of the crew's journey, the crew is navigating these massive waves. They end up coming across a warm eddy, which let me look that up because it's like, should I know what that is? Because I genuinely don't. Maybe it's just because I don't know a lot of weather terms and stuff. What is a warm eddy? A warm core eddy forms when the edge of the Gulf Stream moves into the colder water and separates into a warm core, clockwise flow. Okay, so it is a thing. It is a thing, but it's not like this in real life. This is like a fictionalized version of it, I guess you could say. um, Interesting, I guess. I don't know weather stuff. That is beyond me. But so the crew comes across this. Zoro cuts it, and at this point they end up coming in contact with Jewelry Bonnie, who is, flopping around in the sea for some reason, and panicked because there's a monster after her again for some reason. Why is Bonnie alone without her crew? Why is there a monster after her? A lot of questions we have. But they do manage to save her while also trying to save themselves because the wind kind of blew them away. Um, And we end up seeing this monster at the very end. It's a giant shark that is big enough to swallow Sunny whole. So that's fun. So yeah, we're brought into introducing Bonnie into this arc, and I will say right off the bat, I knew she was going to be in this arc. That is one thing I was spoiled on. I knew Bonnie was part of this arc, um, which I'm actually really excited about because she's another one of the worst generation we haven't really focused on yet. I think her and Yarouge are the only ones left. Um, so I'm excited to see more of her in action. Um, and I definitely want to know more about her character other than just, being a quote unquote glutton. I feel there's probably a lot more to her character, especially with stuff we've seen pretty much since Marineford. You could kind of say Shabandi as well, but especially Marineford. The big thing from Shabandi was her saving Zoro from the Celestial Dragons. But Marineford showed some more interesting things with her crying during the war and everything. So I'm very interested to get details about her as a character. Meanwhile, um, the first half of the episode, because that was basically the second half, the first half of the episode focuses a lot on more of the world affairs going around. Um, After the events at the Reverie and everything, after King Cobra was quote unquote supposedly murdered by Sabo, which we know is a lie, Sabo gets in touch with the others of the Revolutionary Army at Kamabaka Kingdom and basically tells them what we all knew. It wasn't him. It seems like he's probably going to tell them more, but the government has intercepted this call, because of course they have, and have pinpointed that he is on an island called Lucia. Um, so we see at this point that there is a big focus on, again, I think his name is Emu. Let me check. Let me be safe and check. Um, it shouldn't be that hard to do. Just type in One Piece Emu. Yeah, Emu. I was right. IMU. Not EMU. He is not a bird. Emu, or I guess it could be Imu. I'm gonna say Emu because I don't see that feels like it would be pronounced that way. Um, but yeah, we don't know what their goal is. We don't know what their entire deal is. But Sabo tells the revolutionaries that he saw that the supposedly empty throne is not empty. That there's not supposed to be a king of the world, but someone is occupying the throne. And of course, we've known this, and we know about Emu already, so that's not a surprise to us, but it's more about, the Revolutionary Army who are, actively fighting the world government finding out about this. And then we see Emu, presumably Emu, considering the focus it shows on them during this, um, blow the shit out of Leloucha. Like, literally obliterate it. Mass murdering every single person on it. Except Sabo, because we know Sabo is somehow going to survive. No fucking clue how, but we know he will. Not only because that's kind of Sabo's thing at this point, but also because they're not going to kill, Oda's not going to kill off Sabo in that way. If Sabo will die for good, for real, it's going to be a bigger deal. It's not going to be done in this kind of like hand wavy way. Um, so we know Sabo's somehow going to survive. No clue how. But yeah, Emu somehow just completely wiped Leloucha off the map. And the attack looked like, again, I have to look shit up. I'm sorry. I swear the attack is called L Thor. Um, NL NL's lightning pillar attack. Okay, no, Sango apparently is the attack I'm thinking of, according to this. I'm trying to find like a list of the attacks on here. Techniques, here we go. No, no, Elthor is what I was talking about. What the hell? I'm getting mixed signals here. Hold on. Yeah, Elthor literally meaning God's judgment. Yeah, that's what it was called in Skypia, God's judgment. Sends out lightning to gather above his target, then makes it crash down as a massive column. Yeah. So I was right. Then what the fuck is Sango? Hold on, where's Sango? Here's Sango. A large-scale attack where NL raises an arm and from it shoots a vast, erratic, expanding stream of lightning upwards. There's no picture for Sango specifically in here. The attack was seen when NL blew apart the upper yard's highest ruins to send its remains, plus the last remaining survivors of the survival game, down. Okay, so that's that attack. Okay. Okay. But it was Elthor. I was correct. I was actually correct. So yeah, it's kind of like a bunch of Elthors. A bunch of NL's Elthor attacks. But there's so many of them and they just keep increasing and just like they just absolutely obliterate the island and everything on it. And it was pretty obvious that was about to happen because it's like, oh, everything they're showing, the fact that they cross out the island with an X, the fact that it's focusing on these children playing on the island, the clouds forming above the island, it's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's like everything is reading that way. it's if it came out of nowhere and it wasn't built up to it, I probably would have had like a bigger, more shocked reaction. Um, but the fact that I saw it coming did help me be able to, handle it, I guess you could say. Um, it allowed me to be able to just not be as shocked and surprised. Don't get me wrong, I mean, what happened was still horrifying and intense, and just the fact that he's able to do that, like from so far away with seeming ease, they're able to do that, is insane. And raises a lot of questions. Is it a devil fruit power? Is it something else? Who fucking knows? But the fact that they're able to do that from that far away is terrifying. And raises a lot of questions, like I said. So, yeah, that's the thing that happened. I kind of compared it to, like, Ohara, because that's kind of what they aimed to do with Ohara. They wiped it off the map and wiped the Oharans out in order to stop them from being able to, learn about the Void Century and everything and the true history of the world. Which is why Robin is very specifically so sought after amongst the Straw Hats and has been since she was a little girl, because she's the only survivor of Ohara. But with that, they just executed a Buster Call, which is still really fucked. But this is worse. I would say this is definitely worse. This is like a step up from a Buster Call. Um, it's very terrifying for a lot of reasons. And I'm just wondering, like, Did they literally do this just to try and get rid of Sabo? Because that seems. Or did they do this also because of the rebellion against the Vampire King dude? Because those don't seem like valid reasons to wipe an entire island off the map. They really don't. Like, I understand that the Revolutionary Army is a big thorn in the world government's side. But even with all the trouble that was caused there, unless the big thing is that Sabo knows who Emu is, I don't see the point in doing that. And also, wouldn't there be a better way to handle that unless they just wanted to take Sabo out quickly so he couldn't get the word out with, the transponder snail? Which, yeah, it's. I don't know. That just seems like a heavy overreaction to me. Um, but it was very intense. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes from there. Uh, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed this first episode of the arc. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. And excited to start meeting some of the new characters of the arc. They were shown in the opening, so that's going to be exciting. In the meantime, though, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of episode 1089 of One Piece, the first episode of the Egghead Island arc? Let me know your thoughts, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.